This time on Roadkill Garage, we're burning rubber in the C10 and looking good doing it.
Let's do a refresher course on our 67 Chevy C10 pickup. This thing started life at our company on the Hot Rod Garage show. You remember Tony and Lucky got it as a half-ton long bed, and they used a brothers kit to shorten it up to a short wheelbase short bed and put a brand new reproduction fleet side on the thing. And they hosed it down with all of the best QA1 suspension, and because of that, I ended up buying it from the company. But then the short bed sat at Dulcich's farm yet again, until the muscle truck shootout, a Father's Day special episode of Roadkill. And Tony drove this thing and actually did some pretty great drifting in the dirt. Man, I just love watching that thing slide around. But after the showdown, it came back and sank into the ground at Dulcich's yet again. And then I had an idea, and we did an episode of Roadkill Garage experimenting with a big ol' nasty Pro Charger on our bone stock 350 short block. Now, this really didn't end up working out that well because the thing doesn't even have a camshaft in it. The motor is way too stock for that much blower. And so here it sat into the earth again at Dulcich's place. Until this episode where we're bringing it back. My new vision is to try and turn this thing into just a pretty decent driver. We're gonna take the bed off and paint it, and we're probably gonna get the color match kinda close. I don't wanna go through the trouble of painting the entire truck. I just want that cheap E-coat not to rust through. So we're gonna paint the bed, and then I got a few other upgrades that we're gonna do to make this thing a cool daily driver. Because, as you know, C10s are hot. You think this thing's gonna run, Dulcich?
Freiburger, I only make one promise.
Huh.
It ran when I parked it.
Is the battery disconnected? I got the key.
Oh, good. You gotta turn the fuel pump on, remember that?
You remember how?
It's a side switch and it should light up, but I think the light broke.
Is it pumping?
I hear the clickety-clack.
Wow. Wow, that was way easier than I expected.
What did I tell you?
I'm impressed.
What would really impress me is if you could drive that out of here without hitting anything. You're clear. Don't hit the C10. I don't know why I'm not riding inside. We need a floor jack, and then you're gonna have to crawl down there in the mud and reconnect your muffler.
Wow. Okay, I'm a moron, because through the rainy windshield, I did not see this bump. I neglected to realize that this truck is way too low. Let's flash back to the episode of Hot Rod Garage, where Tony Angelo said something like,
I want this thing like ignorantly low.
all right, let's jack it up. Oh, you're just going for it.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm gonna make this happen.
That's true friendship right there when you lie in the mud. Under your sketchily jacked up vehicle, fix your mud-packed muffler. You're just randomly wiring it up so we can get out of here, right?
Okay, you're back in business.
That was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow, look at this thing, it's gleaming. This thing's never looked so beautiful.
I know, it's like freshly waxed.
Yeah. Man, are you sure you want to follow through and do this paint work?
Well, you know, it's not that I care that much about the paint. I just don't want that E-coat to rust.
You mean when it's sitting out in the rain?
Yes,
Getting
exactly.
soaked. Yeah, how could that ever happen?
This is gonna be a mess.
How many bolts do you think hold that on?
6.
Okay, let's take those 6 bolts out and liberate the bed. Got it. Ooh, the slippery one wet.
Think it's ready to go?
Yeah, but it's pretty heavy.
Okay, we're gonna actually cheat and get the camera crew to help us do this, so.
I don't consider it cheating.
No, me neither, because I don't want to throw my back out worse than it is. Look what I did to this muffler outside on that.
Oh no!
Guess we'll have to get a new $19 muffler. So we got the bed off and we're gonna paint it, and even if we just do a cheapy undercoating on the bottom side, it's just not gonna stick with all of this tire rubber and oil and dirt. So even though it's freezing and windy and raining and stuff, you gotta do what you gotta do. Even after pressure washing it, it was obvious it had like an oily film plus a bunch of tire rubber, as you can see. So we're just going over it with some dish soap.
Yeah.
Degrease it.
I think it's good. David's got this all cleaned up with the pressure washer. Now the problem is it's wet and you can't have any moisture at all when stuff needs to be painted. So I've got to get it dried off the best I can. It's storming rain outside, it's frigid, and there's no evaporation. So I'm gonna seal it up in the paint booth. I'm gonna get some propane heaters, get it cooking nice and warm, and it'll evaporate all this bone dry. And I'll be shooting this in no time flat. The bed's pretty dry from the heaters, and there's no moisture, but I noticed there was some debris stuck on the surface here and there, and also I wanted a little bit better of a key than just a bare primer, so I'm going over it with a red Scotch-Brite, and I'm not doing a perfect job, but I'm getting it good enough.
Steve's getting ready to paint the bed. I actually waxed a small spot in the truck right here, and you can see that it brings the color up a whole lot more than the chalky oxidization, so I'm gonna have to wax this thing.
Well, that's the thing. What do you match it to? When you're doing a color match like this, it's impossible to get perfect, but possible to get pretty good. And that spot to me is a little too blue.
Yeah. We took a striker plate over to the paint shop, and they didn't have the ability to actually do a spectral analysis and color match it. So they just eyeballed something, and this is too bright. So you think you can fix it?
Okay, so I've put 4 stirring stick dabs of black in here, and we'll see how much of a difference that made. That may not have shifted it very much at all.
Yeah, you're right. That doesn't look like it changed it much at all.
Should I just go to town?
You know that stuff better than I do, but if you go too far, there is no going back. This is so not the way to do this the right way.
Put your flashlight on it.
Yeah, that definitely made a difference, see? See how light blue that one is, and then that one's more like it?
Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty close. If
you want to spray some on the back of the cab, or do you want to spray a test panel? Oh, I forgot. Dulcich sprays no test panel.
Are you?
No, he just gets it right the first time.
You were trying to insult me there, Freiburger?
I really didn't want to have to wax this whole thing, but I'm going to have to for the color match. I'm just doing a spot in the back of the cab right now so Steve can come in and touch in this red and find out if we got our color match even close. Oh, well. Look at all the paint that came off.
Freiburger's being super fussy about the color match, and I think I've got it pretty good. But what I ended up doing is adding some flattener, which I did use right here in this little test patch. I'm going to see what that looks like by spraying the back of the cab, and I'm going to add an accelerator into the paint, and that's just going to make it dry a little bit faster under these conditions. That is a match.
The thing about Dulcich paintwork is you do not want to watch the process, but in the end, it's actually pretty good. I have to give him a lot of credit. That matches way better than I thought it would. He's going to go out there and paint the underside of the bed, and I'm going to end up having to wax the entire cab of the truck. This thing's pretty oxidized.
This whole surface is ready to spray, so I've loaded up my gun, added the hardener, and I'm ready to go to town. So I've got the underneath of the bed painted, and it turned out just beautifully. What's left here are the wheel tubs, and these are not new parts. These are originals, and they're a little too rough for paint, so I'm gonna use undercoating. But I noticed that right here in the wheel opening, the spot welds have broken, so basically the fender is flapping in the breeze. I'm gonna give it a few quick zaps with the MIG welder, and then I'll be ready to undercoat, flip it over, and paint the top sides. I'm gonna do my undercoating job using just a spray can undercoat. This is a rubberized product and it's professional, so it dries, it's not sticky and it dries really fast. Now there's tar-like products that never dry, they're always super messy and you wanna stay away from that.
Okay, I'm a couple hours behind now because I unexpectedly had to wax this thing. Steve's still out there working on the bed, making the paint happen. And I'm gonna start the mechanical part of the program, which is gonna be a 5-lug conversion. I'll tell you a little bit more about the hows and whys of that as soon as I get this thing apart. Man, I can't wait to get rid of these wheels. That has been sticking in my craw for a long time. And it's the whole point of what I'm about to do here. You know these 67 to 72 Chevy trucks are really popular. You may not know that the half-tons from 67 to 69 came with a 6-lug wheel bolt pattern. The problem with that is that it radically limits what you can do as far as aftermarket wheel choices. Basically, you get ugly or you get nothing. And so people want to convert them to 5-lug, which is what I'm about to do. Now, the way to do that is usually with a disc brake conversion kit. This one is from CPP, or Classic Performance, and Tony and Lucky had already installed this. And it uses a 73 and up square body brake and rotor package, which means all I have to do is break out a 5-lug rotor from like a 73 Chevy truck, and I'll be able to convert this thing to 5-lug on a 5-inch bolt pattern. The front end is officially 5-lugged. The rotor swap was super easy. Back here, I'm gonna have to change axles though. It's not quite as easy because it's a 12 bolt. That means taking the center cover off and getting gear oil everywhere and pulling the C-clips out and pulling the axles out. You'll see. So I got one C-clip out. This thing has got a gov lock in it, which I cannot stand, and you have to have the C-clip rotated in exactly the right place in order to be able to push the axle in to pop the clip out. There. Yep, clip should come out now.
Sure.
There you go. Boom. Now I'm ready to put the wheel studs in my new 5-lug axle. So here's the annoying thing. This wheel bolt pattern is 5-on-5. What you'd much rather have is the car pattern of 5-on-4 3/4. That way you could get any wheel you wanted for one of these trucks. It's easy to get front rotors that way. I was unable to find custom axle shafts that come with the car pattern on it. So this is gonna be 5-on-5, but still, I think I got some pretty good wheels for it.
All right, this is it, I'm going live. I've got my gun ready to go. Air, mask, and there's no turning back. It's nice and even from top to bottom. That's a good pattern. I'm happy with that. I'm just gonna give this all a light coat. Then I'm gonna go around with 2 pretty wet coats to really pour on the paint. Ready?
Yeah. Oh, stop. Wow. It comes out of this bolt. All that is a mounting bolt. How can it come out of there?
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, wait, stop. Okay. It's because it's not coming out of that hole. Good. That would have been insane. It's leaking out of this back here.
Oh, okay, that's an easy fix. Oh, you tightened it some.
I did. You want to go step on it? Ah! Oh! Wow. That thing may be cracked.
Yeah.
This is super annoying. Literally, completely out of the blue, the master cylinder proportioning valve exploded. I have no idea where we go from here.
Neither do I.
It's a good thing this front panel doesn't show. That's actually a stock piece off the truck that those guys added to the reproduction bed. It's kind of dented.
Yeah, it's all beat up, but don't pay attention to that.
The rest of it looks great.
Yeah.
There's a giant bug right here.
I know.
That's like in the worst possible spot. Does this actually have that flattener in it?
Yeah.
It doesn't look that flat.
No. You'd have to add a ton of it to really flatten it out.
Looks pretty good.
That's not bad for just off the gun with an open booth.
Yeah.
And no primer. I really hate to do it, but Freiburger wants me to fog the back of the cab blue. Now, it's not prepped at all, but it's hidden by the box, so I'm just gonna flick some blue paint on there and call it good.
Or you got it? I got it. Not all roses here at Roadkill Garage. As a matter of fact, I will say I resent TV shows that make you believe that you can just snap cars together super quickly with nothing wrong whatsoever, because things mess you up all the time. Case in point, I got a brand new gas tank for this thing because the original one's all full of rust, and in shipping, somehow it got punted so badly that this filler neck is at such a radically different angle that there is no way to get it installed in the truck. There's no real way to fix it. Oh, and by the way, I had ordered myself a new tailgate because this one doesn't say Chevrolet on it, and I wanted it to say Chevrolet on it. The new one that showed up, it was dented. I've got the cab pretty well cleaned up. I want to add some sound deadening to it, and so I'm going to Dynamat the back wall and also some portions of the floor. If you're not familiar, Dynamat is a sound absorption material, or a damping material, I guess is more accurate, and it makes the cab a lot quieter.
Well, I pulled that leaky proportioning valve out, and I found another one. So I'm gonna put that in, and hopefully that's gonna fix our problem.
It's a better day! At least let's hope so, man. Yesterday just absolutely knocked me in the teeth.
I know, but we really got a lot done when you get down to it.
I know, I guess so. All we really have left to do is wheels and tires on this thing, and then I want to roll it out and load the bed in the driveway instead of in here.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the brand new wheels. Check it out, I got rid of those 80s billet things, and these are Rocket Racing wheels. These are called Rocket Strike. I got 15 by 10s in the back with 5-inch back spacing. 15 by 8s in the front with 4-inch back spacing, and they've got the 5-on-5 pattern to match my new 5-luggers, and I'm using them with my old tires, which are a 275 60/15 and a 235 60/15. Okay. It's installed. What are we on? Something's keeping it from rolling. I tried to move this thing out of the shop, and the front end is locked up. Wheels won't turn. I thought maybe it's because of the proportioning valve that Steve installed, but he said maybe it's because the calipers are hitting the wheels, which is a distinct possibility. So what we've got here is, you can see the witness mark where it's hitting the wheel right there and right there. So here's the thing, the old wheel actually has 3.5 inches of back spacing, and the new one is 4, as published. Seemed like it would work, but does not, clearly. It's because this thing has a 2-inch drop spindle on it, which basically takes the center line of the spindle, moves it up 2 inches to lower the truck 2 inches, and that makes this hang down, which is why that's hitting there, and it's also because it's aftermarket parts. That's that QA1 control arm on there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the handy grinder, take the edge off of this right there. This is gonna be safe. It's a thread and ball joint. It's got a lot of engagement. There's a lot of meat in here. So what I'm doing is not making anything fragile. I'm just gonna nip that corner off right there and hope that we can make this work. Okay, set her down.
I'm gonna jounce it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in it right now.
Yeah.
I really thought that the grinding was gonna work, and we've got a 140,000 stud washer behind the studs right now, and it's still getting into, like, it's gonna get into the lip of the wheel in a minute. And at that point, I'm gonna have to grind so much. There's just no way.
Right. Basically, the lower it goes, the deeper that ball joint's going into the wheel, and so that's limiting our ride height.
Yeah, so bottom line is, even with an 1/8" spacer, this
not
wheel
gonna work.
is not gonna work.
No.
Zero chance.
Yeah, we're basically screwed.
Yup.
I want this thing like ignorantly low.
The wheel situation has turned into a complete debacle. These are not going to work whatsoever. So we're abandoning the wheel and tire program for today. We got to get everything else finished. So what we're going to do now is jack up the back, take the rear wheels and tires off, get the camera crew to help us carry the bed in here and plop it into place. And then I'll be able to test fit the rear end for making sure that the wheels and tires fit in the rear wheel wells and order some new stuff overnight. Woohoo! We're ready to install the tailgate that I ordered because it says Chevrolet.
If you're driving a Chevy, you really want to advertise
You
it.
just gotta let them know.
Yeah.
We're nearing the end. I'm dying to get rid of this billet glove box door. It's been driving me nuts since the day Tony bought this thing.
Wow.
Man, that unibit is just gold. Ready for the greatest noise in the world? Oh, dude.
That's mint.
Mint. Wow, that is just a sigh of relief, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Boy. Things are coming together. Finishing up the back of the truck with a bumper and then taillight lenses.
Yeah, this thing's coming along pretty good. I've got the back end almost done. Just tail lights. And once Freiburger gets the rest of the bumper brackets on, we can walk away and put the gas tank in.
Okay, Dulcich, look. That's the original tank, the one that's full of rust that was destroying us in the supercharger episode.
I know.
I want to reuse your trick, dual, what do you call it, return line pickup chingadera.
Thanks.
But then this is the one that showed up completely bashed. That one's made by OER. But look at this one. I overnighted, spending more money on, is from Tanks Inc. And check it out. I will let you guess what makes it more better.
Well, first of all, the spout.
It's more like stock.
Yeah, this one's got those corrugations and a reduced diameter.
But even bigger for me is, check it out, the mounting holes
yeah.
are in it. Whereas the other one, we were gonna have to drill our own mounting holes, so.
Yeah.
Finally, we're gonna solve this wheel problem. I did make a compromise and came up with these. These are Astro Supremes. They were the only wheel I was able to find for a 15x7 with 3.5-inch back spacing in the front, and in the back, a 15x10 with 4.25-inch back spacing, which, because this truck has the factory narrow rear end, I think I'm still gonna run with a little bit of a spacer.
Even got the jack out.
And it has suspension travel. We're set.
So low.
Let's go for a cruise. Okay, I could be completely delusional. Does it seem quieter in here to you?
Yeah.
Dynamat and carpet.
Oh, the Dynamat. You know, I was thinking about that when we drove up from the shop. I'm like, why did we need earplugs before, or earmuffs?
It literally seems quieter now. That's pretty good. So in the end, I'd say 2.5, 3 days of wrenching. It's pretty good. I mean, it made the truck come up a significant level.
Much, much more comfy and quieter and looking good while doing it.
I know. But will it do a burnout?
Oh, this baby is supercharged.
You think it's good?
Oh, yeah.
workout.
Truck is good.
Yeah.
I'm reinvigorated on the C10.
The C10's badass.
Well, the good thing about hydraulic brake fluid is it's hydroscopic, so the water neutralizes it. Your frustration level seems rather high right now.
Well, what do you expect?
See, I've been painting, so I still have the glow of satisfaction of, you know, painting the truck bed. Who's your daddy?